Thank you, Cian Corley, and I appreciate your choosing this topical issue today. It's a very important issue that I've raised here in the House before. And I particularly want to thank the Minister for Education for taking time to come in himself to deal with the issue. Minister, you're still relatively new in this brief, and I would like to wish you well in your position. I know it's a challenging one, and whilst you're new to your position, the staff and students of St Michael's House Special School in Skerries are in the same position they have been in for many years. I'm sure you'll have read in the Irish Times this morning that they have been in temporary accommodation for 36 years. The school have a long-standing application in for a new school building, and I've raised this many times in the Chamber. In topical issue reply I received last March on this issue from your predecessor, Mr. Richard Bruton, he stated, "No effort will be spared in trying to progress the situation, and it is an important project for us," but there's no evidence of this, Minister. I am disappointed by the slow development of much needed school provision by the government. In fact, disappointed doesn't even cover it. It is devastating that so little progress has been made. Now, I understand the site has been identified and indeed, I believe, purchased. But there has been so long waiting on the site. The site was the issue for so long. And then when the site is acquired, identified and acquired, there's still further delays on other ways. In the previous government, Labour Party ministers prioritised the provision of new schools in the worst of the economic times. In 2015, I brought the then Minister, Deputy Jan O'Sullivan, to St Michael's House in Skerries to see for herself the current building and how inadequate it is to meet the needs of the pupils. She recognised the needs and the department officials recognised the need, but the prioritisation of the provision of new schools has been too slow. When will we see the works commence in site, Minister? That's key for the people. The principals, staff and pupils and their families deserve a proper answer. They deserve a timeline for this to happen, and I hope that in response the Minister will provide that. The current building is unfit for purpose. The school has been housed there for 36 years, and unfortunately the building is well past its use-by date. It's an old farmhouse. I visited it several times. The mounting level of repairs needed just to keep the building in basic condition is financially onerous. The school received prefabs in recent years due to the poor state of the building, and the benefits are acknowledged by everyone involved, but these are not long-term solutions and are merely putting the finger in the dam. In the summer it can be too hot to have classes indoors. In the winter the school can be very cold. Also, Minister, the school is at maximum capacity. There's no more space for any increase in the student body. Currently pupils are only admitted when an existing pupil finishes his or her time at the school. With a maximum capacity of 30 pupils supported by 17 dedicated staff, the number of spaces that crops up is very small. Many families are left on waiting lists and are living with perpetual disappointment and, of course, great concern. With a new building, St Michael's House could increase its service provision to 92 pupils, thus trebling its current number and giving hope to a lot of other people who are waiting for places. And what a transformation that would be. We talk about this being a time of economic recovery, and it is. Unemployment is returning to boom time levels, exchequer receipts are up, and we do finally have some funds to invest back into the state. We need to look after our most vulnerable citizens, Minister. The students in St Michael's Special School need and deserve a facility which meets a good standard. In a new school they can thrive and fulfil their potential. They can't do it in the current building. The staff in St Michael's House are a credit to the teaching profession and to the public sector generally. They are being inhibited from doing their job to the best of their ability by the inadequacy of their building, but they are not the real losers. The people who lose most are the pupils. They are not getting the facilities they deserve, facilities that would allow them to thrive and fulfil their individual potential.
Get to Cian Corley, and I'd like to thank the Deputy, as I said, for putting down this question. It's an important area, and I want to join with you in acknowledging the valuable work that's carried out at St Michael's House Special School, Skerries. I am happy to clarify the position in respect of the development of permanent accommodation for St Michael's House Special School in Skerries. The school was established in 1982 and is currently located in a rented building with temporary accommodation in Hackettstown, Skerries. The department is committed to providing a permanent accommodation solution, and in that regard, a project to deliver a new school building for St Michael's House Special School on a greenfield site has been included in the department's 6-year capital programme. It is planned to provide a new building for St Michael's Special School to accommodate a 14-classroom school expandable to 16 classrooms, to include classes for pupils with mild general learning difficulties, autistic spectrum disorder, multiple disabilities and severe profound disabilities. The Department is working closely with Fingal County Council in accordance with the Memorandum of Understanding in relation to the acquisition of a suitable site to facilitate the school building project. The site acquisition process for this school has been ongoing for some time. Initial efforts were focused on acquiring land in the vicinity of the school's current location, which was preferred by the school authorities. However, efforts in that regard were unsuccessful, and subsequently the current site option was identified. The acquisition process was subsequently paused for some time while my department engaged with the school authorities regarding potential alternative accommodation which was available at the time. However, based on the outcome of this engagement, the site acquisition process restarted and agreement was reached with the relevant landowner in respect of the proposed acquisition. This acquisition is currently at conveyance stage. I wish to confirm that my department is committed to progressing this project and will continue to liaise with Fingal County Council and the school authorities to achieve this. The acquisition process for a permanent site is underway. My department is aware of the limitations of the current temporary accommodation, and every effort is being made to progress the permanent accommodation for the school as quickly as possible. That is for the purpose of putting this on the record in terms of the history, where we're at. At a personal level, Deputy, I'm very, very eager to try to move this forward. And if there are areas where we can work together to make this happen, because I know what you've asked for today is a time frame. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to give the time frame because of the conveyance issue, but I know parents want certainty. Staff want to know when this is going to happen, and also you're talking about the opportunity as well to grow the school population, and whether it requires meeting with relevant officials, sitting around a table. I know your constituency colleagues, my own party colleagues have been on to me as well on this issue, and it's not just because it's a public issue that appeared in the media today. I know you've been raising this on numerous occasions, and I just want to give my personal commitment to doing whatever it takes to do this. Over 30 years is not, it's not acceptable to be in this position. But unfortunately things happen, and I know you talked about your previous colleagues being in positions and a site was identified, things didn't happen, and that happens. Unfortunately that can happen, but it's a slow process. But at the same time, if there's areas where we can work together, I'd be happy to sit down with you, with the relevant officials, to ensure that we keep this on a live agenda, which you want today.
Minister. Deputy Ryan.
Thank you for your response, Minister. Much of what you had to say goes through the history of it, which is exactly what we heard the last time we raised it in March of last year. The site has been acquired, as I understand it. The conveyancing thing shouldn't take long. I think there's an issue of priority. But from the time St Michael's House was born in 1955, it has helped to change fundamentally how we as a country educate people with intellectual disabilities. It has been a leader in the development of community-based service for people with intellectual disabilities, providing services to 1751 children and adults. St Michael's House has demonstrated exceptional leadership throughout the years, but if it is to deliver its vital service, it requires assistance from the state in the form of a new building and facilities worthy of its staff and deserving of its pupils and their families. The school community needs this new school delivered. It needs the department to provide this. And this is a priority by getting work underway as soon as possible. People are waiting to see machines go on that site, and I think that's the hope that they will take hope from that if they can see that. And from where they are in terms of the process, that shouldn't take too long. It needs to be accelerated. I've been working closely with the school in recent times, so I'm aware of the various developments and reasons for delays. But I cannot emphasise strongly enough how stretched the school is. Pupils cannot take their required breaks. There are also pressures on space from staff perspective, which has a direct effect on how they can deliver the services to pupils. St Michael's House is a special school and as such has special requirements unlike mainstream schools. But these requirements are not so special that an inordinate delay should occur. Please, Minister, be the minister this school have been waiting for and be the one to finally deliver this project. The Irish are compassionate people who want to see our fellow citizens treated equally and fairly. But I want to see this moved as soon as possible. But there's a wider concern I just want to raise, Ceann Comhairle, this in my couple of seconds I have left. It seems to me in my 12 years in here that school building programmes come and go. Special schools tend to be at the tail end of every school programme. They're factored in at the end. They're never given the priority. They're never up front in year 1 or 2. They're low priority in my mind. They tend to fall off the other end and not delivered, and then rolled into the next programme. On and on it goes, Minister. You're new in the department, and I think there's an opportunity for you in there to make your mark. Root out this approach to how the department treats special schools. And I think you will be a hero of the disability sector, and they so deserve it.
Thank you, Deputy Ryan. Minister.
Cam Corley, just to reiterate the process here of conveyance. If there's something at this stage of the process that can be done, I'm aware it's with the Chief State Solicitor's Office. If there's something that we can do to keep this live, to keep it on the agenda, you have my commitment there. With regard to your second point about where are we in terms of the priority of special schools, one of the things that I've found from my, I suppose, initial introduction to the department and the whole area of special schools on one hand, and then obviously the special classes within mainstream schools, is the intensity of it. And I know it's demand-led, and parents demand that choice. They either want to send them to a special school or to have the choice to mainstream, or whichever is most suitable. I met with 3 representatives of 3 special schools this morning. I gave them my commitment that I will continue to work with them. I think you're right in making the point that we have to ensure that there's equal focus, whether it's special classes, and special classes have increased from 480 plus in 2011 to 1,500, so there's been a massive momentum there. The overall budget is about 1.75 billion for this year, but we also have to hold what we have as well in terms of priority to special schools. They're really, really important. I appreciate the sometimes very challenging areas within that. But one thing from going into the special school in my own county, Little Angels, recently, is to see the number of dedicated staff, be it special teachers or SNAs, working really, really well on a collaborative basis. But if they don't have the proper environment, if they don't have the proper building, it makes that job all the more difficult. So I'm focused on this particular issue here today. I want to see progress made on it, and if there's things we can do collectively, I'm prepared to do it. We worked very well together on the Business Committee with Cam Corley and yourself, Deputy. I'm a consensus type politician that believes that by reaching out and working, we can make things work faster, so I'm happy to do that.